What's up, Ice Agent? I didn't think you'd notice. Trump went from telling other countries, do not show up in Iran. We don't need you. We don't want you. Don't come here. He told the UK that. Now he's begging other countries to show up. Shout out to Shaq to the Future for coming to my support today. People still believe the Nick Alvear shit. Like, me and Phil are working together because I called out Nick Alvear.
What you think about when you're born into a fire? Let them burn it out. Sell them to the richest buyer. They wanna let the world decay. They tell us lies and fade away, fade away. We feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway.
Texas is booming. I have that on good authority.
Because we're never dropping out. Beat the odds, beat the big.
I heard that from a real Mexican.
Brains are bigger than the Dow. We've been thinking for a second.
Nick forgot the Phil people existed. Like, he doesn't fucking engage with them or talk to them anymore. And they're still running around carrying his fucking torch for me.
Let the world burn away, burn away. We feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. To blame, haters face the world's mistakes. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway.
Well, he told me in Spanish, and I had to translate it through AI, so. Do other people speak Spanish? I feel like it's a very Mexican thing.
And we feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the
seems like a very localized language. From what I know about it. I asked the experts. They all agreed. Oh shit, I wasn't ready. I forgot to do the Facebook thing. Damn it. Good job, chat. Really got me over a barrel now. You have to wait a minute while I wait for Facebook to load. Thank you. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome. Texas is booming. It is the boom central. Some may call it boomtastic. I've never said that before. Mr. Boombastic, he lives in Texas, so I heard. From a real Mexican. All right, switch accounts. Almost there, chat. Hang with me. One more. Like and share. There we go. All right, here we go. Intro, whatever.
Hey daddies, it's me, the Linda Binda from TikTok. I wanted to make this video because I wanted to thank you for watching Cold Beer Confessionals with Will Bird. I think that's just incredible.
That's watched a few Shaggy
episodes,
song, right?
and
Mr.
I'm just
Boombastic.
like, very intrigued.
The Shaggy?
But you know what I'm most
Who's
intrigued
Mr. Boombastic?
is Big Daddy's meat stick. I heard that it's very thick, like a good old German sausage. You know, Linda and her coochie loves that. Oh, never mind. Let's not go there. Anyways, I hope you have a good show and enjoy it as you can. There's a lot of weird things that go on, especially when it comes from the realm of Linda Bindaland. So, enjoy the show. Thanks for watching. Peace out.
Welcome, everybody. I am Will Bird, and this is a Cold Beer Confessional. Z-Man, when you first showed up in chat, I thought you were a very different Z-Man, by the way. That's why I engaged with you differently the first time I saw you in chat. Some people will get that, and some people won't. There was a very different Z-Man that used to hang out in our chat a long time ago. I don't know what's going on with that guy now. Anyways, thank you guys for joining us. I told you I was getting attacked on Twitter. Fucking crazy people. Nick Alvear followers, I guess. I don't know. So Shaq tweets some shit out, right? And Shaq to the future tweets some shit out about Phil. It says, well, it looks like child rapist Phil Godlewski is flying the whole crew out to Maui on a private plane for spring break, blah, blah, blah. And they tag me and other people, a bunch of people in it, right? And then someone says, smart assy forever, which I don't know if I've had a run-in before. This Nick Alvear drama all went down like a fucking year and a half ago. I don't remember who was fucking coming after me and who wasn't. I don't know if I've had a run-in with them before, but they look like a super, super, super fucking Trump supporter, right? They said, where is his best friend at Cold Beer Confess? With no punctuation. Then they say bald Brad. Like Brad Barton, I guess. Or maybe they're talking about me. I'm bald. Is Brad bald? I don't know. Anyways. So I just put a thumbs up. I don't know what the fuck they're saying, what they're trying to say, whatever. I just put a thumbs up. And then Smart Assy Forever says, what's with a thumbs up, you freak? You're BF, filth, and you are partners in slime, scammers, and grifters. To me, to my thumbs up. They said that. So I said, okay. I said, you don't make a lot of sense when you're spiraling. I have more than enough people to vouch for me as far as Phil is concerned, and Shaq to the Future is one of them. Like, me and Shaq are friends. Weird place to try to make claims against me, though. And then Shaq stood up for me and was like, oh, yeah, you know, you said bald Brad. I thought you were talking about Brad Barton. Will is definitely not a fan or friend of Phil, blah, blah, blah. Then they come back and say, oh, yeah, it says, sorry, I was talking about Brad B. Then why the fuck are you tagging me? Who the fuck do you think I am? You think my name on Twitter is Will Bird, and then in parentheses it says Cold Beer Confessional, the name of the show. You think I'm Brad Barton? You think I named myself Will Bird, Cold Beer Confessional because I'm Brad Barton? I was very confused. I think that Shaq kind of stepped on their toes, like defending me, and they're like, oh, sorry, yeah, I was talking about Brad, maybe. I don't know. When we go to this person's page, it is mega Trump supporter time. Like, the very first post, I was like, well, maybe they're just fucking, they don't understand the internet. The very first pinned post, I stand 1,000% with President Trump, always will. So I was like, oh, maybe they're not friends of mine. I don't know. We don't want to watch that yet. You want me to show you where I find my Zen? You want me to show you? It used to be pressure washing videos, right? But then they got pressure washing and lawn mowing videos and leaf blower videos. Yeah, Brad is from Tennessee. You're right. Yeah, down near like where Tennessee meets Georgia, but still. It used to be pressure washing videos and lawn mowing videos and even leaf blower videos. But those videos became super political. They all have these fake stories about how I was going to be arrested. I showed you that on one of the shows, right? They're all putting this weird fucking new peeps need the quick rundown on Phil and clowns. Oh, God. Real quick. Phil Godlewski is a guy, a real estate agent, part-time Subway sandwich artist who never really succeeded in life. But when he was 27, 26, he was a high school baseball coach sleeping with a 15-year-old. He wasn't a high school baseball coach that's a teacher as well. He was separate, so he wasn't a teacher, but he was sleeping with a girl in the local high school. And the high school busted him. The mom and dad busted him. He went to court for it. He pled guilty to a lesser charge, contributing to delinquency of a minor. And anyways, over the years, he became a real estate agent and a Subway sandwich artist. His parents own a gas station / Subway. Later on in life, he starts trying to live stream like pro-Trump stuff, no QAnon stuff at all. And then when Trump loses the election and Biden's inaugurated, suddenly like a switch, he flips on all the QAnon stuff. That's all he talks about. And he starts claiming that he's Q, that he's a hacker, that he's all these different people, and that the president is using him. And he's meeting with the president, dealing with the president. He's a white hat. Yeah, just all these wild claims that are not true. You can clearly look up this guy's background. He's been online like the rest of us, his age, have been online. He's a little bit older than me. Like, you can find his fucking original Facebook. You can find his yearbook. Says he went to CIA summer camp. He worked for the NSA. He's Q. He starts sending out these coded messages like that's supposed to be to other QAnon people. Like, it's just crazy stuff, right? So I start covering him. And then almost immediately it comes out that he had sex with a 15-year-old high school student, which is not good for the look, right? He denies that, tries suing the local paper that run an article around January 6th, and him, the fact that he was covering January 6th and saying, I have intel that Mike Pence has been hung, he's been captured, the white hats are winning, blah, blah, blah. So they run a paper about him selling real estate, selling rabbit holes, and also being a convicted of having sex with a minor. He tries to sue them, saying he never had sex with her. He tells his audience that he was just texting her because her boyfriend had committed suicide and he was trying to give her therapy. And that's why he felt like he was contributing to the, or I almost said contributing to delinquency, the morals of the minors, right? That's how he violated her morals or changed her morals or whatever he was trying to claim. It's like, oh, well, she just had a hard time with the death of her boyfriend who did commit suicide. That is true. And I was best friends with the boyfriend. He wasn't. He didn't even know the guy. Knew the guy like small town, but wasn't friends with the guy. He was actually sexting her and texting her, and he admitted all this in text messages. Like, one of the text messages said, I just realized again that you're 15, but I quickly stopped caring. He was talking about digging her hair out of his crotch. He was talking about hot tub sex. Yeah, he was talking about just crazy shit with a 15-year-old girl. Now the 15-year-old girl is doing well now, but you can tell like she's still got a thing, like some type of weird power imbalance shit. I feel like Phil today could talk her into some crazy shit if she doesn't have really good, strong, grounded people around her. Like he came into a pivotal moment in her life and kind of, yeah, he hates his own penis because it doesn't work sometimes, even with a 15-year-old. Anyways, he's talked her, manipulated her, got her to say all kinds of crazy stuff, even convinced her not to testify at his court case, the original court case where he took the pleading. Anyways, he comes on the scene. I start covering for QAnon. We start covering his past and background and history. He starts threatening to sue people. He does sue people. He ends up suing his victim because she works for the newspaper and said, yes, I was sexually assaulted by him when I was a minor. Even though I did consent, you know, I can't consent as a 15-year-old. That's the problem. Even if I do say I consent and it's, you know, consensual, that doesn't matter. All that shit comes out while he's grifting the fuck out of his audience. He's getting on by MLMs and patches and silver and money. Now he's doing an AI crypto rug pull. He's a multimillionaire now. He went from, you know, struggling real estate agent and bouncing checks and going to jail for like $1,000, $20,000 checks that he bounced, and then tried to forge bank statements to show that he didn't bounce it. So now he's a multimillionaire, has properties in Hawaii and all over the world, Italy, and rents them out for Airbnb and whatever. That's who Phil is. Long into the Phil narrative, another guy comes up that basically makes these QAnon documentaries that just use stock footage. Like he's got a good voice for like a voiceover, and he does these documentaries. And he uses a bunch of stock footage that you buy on like a stock footage website. Anyways, he shows up, and at first he wants to work with Phil. Then Phil kind of calls him out. Then he calls him out. The guy's name's Nick. Phil calls out Nick. Nick calls out Phil. They go back and forth a couple times. Then Nick says the ultimate thing. Well, he's a fucking pedo. I looked it up. This is the background. He's a pedophile. Nick reaches out to me. I send him some information on Phil or whatever. He makes a documentary on Phil, and that goes public, and Phil threatens to sue him and does sue him. That case ended up going fucking basically nowhere. Anyways, the Nick guy is still a QAnon guy, okay? The Nick guy is still a QAnon guy. So I debated back and forth. You know, he's making this documentary. A lot of people are learning about Phil. Phil's like my main target at the time. I didn't call him out at first. I just kind of ignored him. I covered the stuff he did about Phil. I watched it. I shared it. I told people to go to it. I supported it. I sent him information when he asked me for information. But then when the documentary is finally out, I tell people, go watch the documentary. And for a week, I don't say anything about Nick. And then I'm like, oh, but by the way, Nick's also a piece of shit, right? He's a QAnon guy. He sells parents essential oils to rub on their kids' feet to get rid of their autism. So we started calling him Tism Toes. It was bad. So I called out Nick, and I'm like, yeah, he's a QAnon piece of shit too. Like, I don't want you to think just because I support his efforts to expose Phil that I'm with him on all this other QAnon bullshit. He believes in mud floods and the Tartarians really built these massive cities and a lost civilization in Atlantis. He believes a bunch of weird shit. So of course I'm gonna be like, I don't believe this shit that he believes. When I did that, he fucking Nick come unglued. So Nick's got two friends, Dr. Z and Script Keeper. They were his friends at the time. I don't even think they talk anymore. That was helping him make this documentary. So almost immediately, Nick calls me out on Twitter. I embarrass him, so he blocks me, and he sends Script Keeper, who's like I don't know, your favorite 60-year-old really bad rapper, and Dr. Z, some weird Mason guy from the symbol company, Zildjian, or whatever the symbols are. They come after me, and it's a whole thing, and they try to convince people that I cover Phil in a negative light to give him more attention so people go support him in a positive way, and Phil somehow paying me or giving me money or supporting me or we're best friends. So I lean into it. I start photoshopping photos of me and Phil like at the Super Bowl and on a fucking private jet and shit because I think it's funny, right? And I put all that out there, and then some people fucking run with still to this day. A bunch of people are like, I can't believe you and Phil, like that Twitter encounter I just had. they still like, oh, I can't believe you work with Phil and you're a Phil support. You were the guy who first called him out. And I'm like, I still am. I just covered him a couple days ago about his jiggle shit, right? Like, I don't cut him any slack. He's just boring to me now, right? He's grifting a bunch of people's grandmas. They're not going to see the light. They're not going to get out of it. They're not going to listen to anybody. Anybody that I feel like I could remove from that situation, I've already fucking removed, right? And there are a lot of people that found my show that'll tell you in the chat, I used to watch Phil. Then I found Will, and he showed me everything. There are people that came from Phil or maybe the Patriot Street Fighter or a bunch of other, different channels that were these QAnon people. And they're like, it didn't make sense to me. And then I found Will's videos, blah, 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 blah. I don't think I can save anybody else. I think they're in for the long haul. Like, Phil even claimed at one time that like every month that Biden was president, Phil claimed in another month that Trump was coming back. He even said one time, somebody pulled up an old clip, I saw it yesterday, that Phil said he would not vote for Trump in 2024 because he was already supposed to be the president and he should have come back before then. And if we wait till 2024, we've already lost the whole war and I'd never vote for him. Like, what the fuck? So I don't think I can save these people, right? They're going to keep sending him money. They're going to keep supporting him. They're going to keep believing that a 15-year-old girl, Phil claimed that she lied. She made it up. She was in love with him. He didn't want to leave his fiance. He even claims that a bunch of 15-year-old girls got together and hacked his phone and put those horrible messages to send to a minor. Some of them are like too far to me even send to my fucking wife. Like, I would blush. But anyways, he was sending them to a minor. He claims that a group of high school girls hacked his phone in 2010 and planted those messages there. Like crazy stuff. And they believe it. So I cover Phil when there's something interesting like that. The big crypto scam he's doing right now. That's interesting to me, but I'm not going to cover every fucking show he does. It's just the same shit, right? I have intel. It's not going to come true. He makes really vague statements and he's like, oh, something big's going to happen in the next month or two. Then when literally anything happens that has to do with Trump, he's like, told you. Who called it? I called it. Like, it's so stupid. But I don't think they believe as much as they want to believe, right? It's not as much as like, I've seen the evidence, and if I look at the evidence critically, I know that Phil's on the inside of the Trump team and he's predicting the future. It's more like, the things that Phil says are not happening, but I really want them to happen. And like Santa Claus, if we all believe enough, maybe it makes it real kind of deal. So everything's boring with that guy. Same thing with Brad Barton. Brad Barton threatened to sue me. Him and Rita Big Thumbs were in it together. They were going to come after me, take everything I own, blah, blah, blah. They're just fucking boring now, right? How many times can you listen to a guy rate a 44-ounce sweet tea? It's fucking boring. Anyways, those are the QAnon people. I still cover them every once in a while if you're looking for updates. We'll get to them eventually, but it's not my main thing anymore. Anyways, when I'm freaked out through the day, when I don't know what's going on, this is where I go to. Tell me this isn't relaxing as fuck. All this guy does is cock. The audio's not on, but he's not saying anything either. His music playing. Hold on. All right, music's over. Hold on.
Stay in place, even when it's not tight. And that's just to help the mastic not fall back. Like that.
Back a rod.
So let's pump some mastic into the gap. And when we're doing it, it's just off flat, you see? Like that. Put it in your gun.
Here we go.
Let's cut that a little bit bigger, to be honest with you. Just like that.
He was complaining about how big the gap was, but there was copyrighted music playing behind it.
Nozzle, it's pretty much just off flat like that. And then we're just going to proceed.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely disgusting gap up.
Fill that gap.
Do you think we'll use 1, 2, 10?
I like these ones, the more exact ones. Hold on. When he doesn't talk. He's not filling a giant gap. Check these out. I don't know what he does. So I do a lot of cock. Okay, I handle a lot of cocking. And he bends the nozzle I don't know if you noticed that. Hold on, let me back up. I understand people cut different size holes, cut them on different angles, turn the angles different ways. He bends the nozzle. See how the nozzle's bent? Wait till he puts it on. I don't know what that does. See how that's bent? It's not, if straight would be this way, right? It's bent to the side. Every nozzle he uses is like that. See that bend in it? That's weird, isn't it? I don't know if you guys are big cockers. These are the ones I like. No talking. Just get to business, buddy. Let's go. Oh, yeah. That's a beautiful thing. Look. Oh, God. Get it. I love it. Oh, God. Damn. He's a pro, boys. I'm wet just thinking about it. I need to be cocked up, honestly. Fucking leaking the floor here. Do you guys know who Jen Hamilton is? She's a famous TikToker, Facebook, everything, YouTube. She's a labor and delivery nurse. She went viral for reading the Bible and telling people to be kind. Like, so viral, and so many Trump supporters threatened her, she had to have security at a conference she went to speak at, a medical conference, because she had so many death threats for people. Basically, she was, without saying it, she was basically saying, like, we need to take care of the poor, you know, the immigrants. She was basically saying the Trump administration is not in line with the Bible. That was it. But she didn't mention Trump. She didn't mention administration. She didn't mention politics at all. She just says, this is what we should do. This is what my Bible says. And she read the Bible on TikTok, and she went viral for so much Trump hate. I'm about to come, but after that, we'll cover Jen Hamilton in just a second. Oh, get it, buddy. Yeah. Oh, beautiful. I don't know why, but I like the black ones better. Hold on, let's see if we can find him doing black. I've heard most people like the black ones better. That's a gray, isn't it? Oh yeah, dude. I don't know. I like the darker ones than I do the white, better than the white ones. The dark cock. I'm a dark meat guy. Ooh. God damn, dude. What I wouldn't give to be his nozzle. The contrast is nice. I think that's what it is. He did a bathroom, a really fancy bathroom the other day with black all the way around it. God, it looked good. I think it's white. It is. Is this the black one? Oh, I got to stop the music. Hold on. This might be a black one. Nope, gray. It was a really fancy bathroom he did the other day. Which one was it? Gray. I am a fan of the black cock. That is true. I swear I just saw one the other day where he was doing black in a fancy-ass bathroom. Still white. Give me that black cock. Tell me it's black. Oh, it's gray. It's gray. Oh, God. It's green? Is that? Oh, it says green tile and a smile. It's green. My bad. Black cock in your bathroom means you made it. I agree, dude. I agree. You're in a different tax bracket if you're getting black cock in your bathroom. That is green. He calls himself the Mastic Man.
That guy sounds like Skepta. So much.
I can't play the copyrighted music. Damn, let me find that bathroom. Give me a second. Still white. Where did I see it at then? That's just been an old video, maybe. Let me see if I can find it from the thumbnail. This is just relaxing to me, dude. When I'm stressed the fuck out, he's out here slinging that black cock. I don't even. It's good. I think it was a bathroom. Was it not a bathroom? Ooh, that looks black. Is that black? Here we go. Let's see. Oh, God. Yes, it's black. Like the ace of spades, baby. Get it. Here we go. It's nice. Around the corner. Oh, back door. Get it. The black looks better, doesn't it? Like at least the little fine. Oh, my God. Ugh. And this is why I can't have a real job. That's what I'd be doing all day. When everybody complained or someone said anything or I just got pissed off, I'd just be watching cock videos. Nah. That was a good meetup there. I don't know if you noticed that. That was good. Oh, God. Pull a long one, Daddy. Right. Oh, shit. The way he worked that tip. Damn. Did not see that coming. Smooth it, yeah. Use a stick. No more cock, just a stick. Is that what we're done to? God, that looks good. That looks good, guys. I like it. I like it. That's where I go to relax. So if you want, this guy's account is called Mr. Mastic or the Mastic Man. His account on YouTube. Now, or on TikTok. Jen Hamilton is currently being trolled by the U.S. National Parks. The U.S. National Park Service is trolling Jen Hamilton, which I think is kind of hilarious. Right? That's funny. Yeah. Maybe it's just Yellowstone. Maybe it's just Yellowstone trolling her. They've done this to other people, but no one as big as Jen Hamilton. Well, she thought it was funny, so I think it's fucking hilarious. Here we go.
Here's my legs. Here's my butt.
For real though, I'm like 99% what? Lipedema. And then it's hate to see her go, but love to watch you leave. It says, bring your badonkadonk to Yellowstone. The mountains are thick too. Yeah, that was just specifically cock ASMR. Then she does another one about shaving her vagine. She calls it her Bruno Mars, I think's what she calls it. Oh, this is a thirst trap video where she's supposed to do like a transition, and they transition to buffaloes. Baddies only. Yellowstone beware. Hashtag wild as fuck. I like Jen Hamilton. She's funny. And she took this well. She could have really fucked this up. But this is good PR for her, I think. Who else do they thirst trap? A bunch of people, it seems like. Just 2 words you need to say to us.
What you tell me?
I'm not going to do what you told me. I won't do what you told me. They thirst trap a bunch of people. Famous TikTokers. It's pretty funny. Yellowstone's got a good account, honestly. I need to follow it. Whoever's running it, somebody young, obviously, knows what they're doing. Right? That Jen Hamilton video got 1 million views. Most Yellowstone posts do not get 1 million fucking views. So we're doing good. Good job, Yellowstone. I'm here for it. All right, now let's get into the horrible shit. I found this video, which I thought was interesting.
Donald Trump is in the
It's Chris Christie. Donald Trump hates Chris Christie. In 2016, he loved Chris Christie. Even gave him a position, right? Didn't he appoint Chris Christie to something? By the way, Phil, the super spy agent guy that I was talking about earlier, Phil Godlewski, has a old picture on his Instagram where he met Chris Christie at a baseball game and claims that Chris Christie was going to be the next president in 2016, not Donald Trump. Seems kind of weird if he was part of QAnon that he didn't know that the military was installing Donald Trump as a leader. That's weird.
Donald Trump is in the midst of committing political suicide. We're watching it. You know, I had a political science professor in college who, when I was graduating, said to me, "You're going to run for office someday, and you're going to be really good at this. So just remember one lesson.
Chris Christie is a decent debater, a very good public speaker.
When your adversary is in the midst of committing suicide, there's no reason to commit murder. The result is the same." And Democrats can't understand this. The suicide is in progress, and the Democrats can't stop talking about Trump. What will happen is he will get worse after the midterms. Anybody who's been in an executive government position and you're in your last 2 years of your 8 knows what it's like. You, for 6 years, are the focus. And in the last 2 years, they're looking to who's next.
I 100% believe if Trump lives post midterms, that he will not be able to handle seeing the Republican and Democratic contenders for president getting all the news. And like a toddler, he will lash out and do crazier and crazier things so he is the focus of the attention, especially the Republicans. When he sees 8 Republicans, maybe including J.D. Vance, are going up and they're doing debates and they're having meetings and they're announcing their presidency and they're talking about their campaign and he will not be able to fucking handle it. There's no fucking way. You've never seen Chris Christie?
For 6 years are the focus. And in the last 2 years, they're looking to who's next. He can't imagine that. He cannot imagine not being the center of every conversation, not being the center of every room that he walks into. Can you imagine when they have the first presidential debates for 2028 and he's not on the stage and millions of people are watching other politicians? It's going to lead him to be crazier than he is right now. And so all those things will contribute to people going,
I figured.
Okay, I've had enough. Donald Trump is in the midst of committing political suicide. We're watching.
Don't commit murder when somebody's committing suicide. This brings me to Donald Trump's Twitter or truth or whatever. I call it all Twitter, tweets, Twitter. I'm not saying truths. Donald Trump, just the other day, when the news broke that the UK was potentially sending one of their carriers to the Middle East to protect their bases and assets and infrastructure and whatever, right? Donald Trump told them not to come. We don't need you. Don't come. No thanks. He's told other countries, we don't need you. We'll handle it. No thanks. It's just him and Israel on like a private date, and there's no room for anybody else. Understand? Now he's begging for other countries in his own way. Like, he won't outright say that they need to come, like, we need you here, or we want your help, or blah, blah, blah. But he's like, everybody's going to be there. You should be there too. We'll help a lot, I promise. It's very weird. So let's start with this post. This doesn't have to do with the countries, but this is the mindset he was in. Yet again, an intentionally misleading headline by the fake news media about the 5 tanker planes that were supposedly struck down at the airport in Saudi Arabia, and of no further use. In actuality, the base was hit a few days ago, but the planes were not struck or destroyed. 4 of the 5 had virtually no damage and are already back in service. Yeah, but anytime an explosion goes off near a plane, they're out of service. 1 had slightly more damage, but will be in the air shortly. None were destroyed or close to that. As the fake news said in headlines, the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal in particular, and other low-life papers and media actually want us to lose the war. Their terrible reporting is the exact opposite of the actual facts. And we're going to watch Pete Hegseth in a minute talk about a patriotic media, what a patriotic news media should do. The terrible reporting is the exact opposite of the actual facts. They are truly sick and demented people that have no idea the damage they caused the United States of America. Fortunately, as proven by our great and conclusive election win in 2024, the people of our country understand what is happening far better than the fake news media, President Donald Trump. Now, he has done something between people and the media. I think it was coming anyways with the way we have like alt media and podcast and internet and, these news show. Everybody can do a news show now. I think something was coming anyways, but damn if he didn't rush it along. No one believes the fucking media anymore. No MAGA people believe the media. They don't believe doctors. They don't believe media. They don't believe scientists. They don't believe the administration. They don't believe anybody about anything unless it's Trump. Trump has to basically co-sign everything that's being said. Now we get to his next post about the same time. They were written pretty close to each other. This is Donald Trump begging for other countries. Many countries, especially those who are affected by Iran's attempted closure of the Hormuz Strait, will be sending warships. Now, again, a week ago, don't send them. We don't need them. We're doing it. You're too late. We're doing it. We don't need any help. We'll have this done in a few days. Now, many countries are sending warships in conjunction with the United States of America to keep the strait open and safe. We have already destroyed 100% of Iran's military capability, but it's easy for them to send a drone or two, drop a mine, or deliver close-range missiles somewhere along or in this waterway, no matter how badly defeated they are. If you've already destroyed 100% of their military capability, how could they possibly send a drone or two or a mine or a close-range missile? That just means you haven't destroyed 100% of their military capability. Whatever. Hopefully, China, France, Japan, South Korea, the UK, and others that are affected by this artificial constraint will send ships to the area so that the Hormuz Strait will no longer be a threat by a nation that has been totally decapitated. In the meantime, the United States will be bombing the hell out of the shoreline and continually shooting Iranian boats and ships out of the water. One way or the other, we will soon get the Hormuz Strait open, safe and free. President DJT. That's followed up by another tweet almost immediately after that says, the United States of America has beaten and completely decimated Iran, both militarily, economically, and in every other way. What other ways are they? Are you a fucking dom in the bedroom? But the countries of the world that receive oil through the Hormuz Strait must take care of that passage, and we will help a lot. The U.S. will also coordinate with those countries so that everything goes quickly, smoothly, and well. He's volunteering countries now, right? He's saying, hey, not only will these countries do it, but we'll be there to help. This should have always been a team effort. Again, a week ago, he was telling people not to fucking come. It was too late. We don't need you. We don't want you there. Literally to the UK. Too little, too late. Sorry. Now this should have always been a team effort. And now it will be. It will bring the world together towards harmony, security, and everlasting peace. The president of peace has been to war with Iran twice in a year. How the fuck does he go from we don't need you to you guys are going to open it up and we'll help? Coalition. We'll have a coalition. And it should have always been like that. Should have always been together. Wild. McLaughlin, strong majority backs Trump in stopping Iran's nuclear ambition from Newsmax. A newly completed national survey of likely voters shows strong support for Donald Trump's decision to use military force to stop Iran from developing nuclear weapons. I would like to see how this is phrased. Even more strikingly, when voters are reminded of Iran's long record of hostility towards the United States, support grows significantly. So you have to tell them, like, they've been really mean to us. Don't you think we should stop them? A clear majority believes decisive action is justified. An even stronger majority of 59% said President Trump should finish the job and ensure Iran never acquires nuclear weapons. I would love to see how these are phrased. The findings also reveal a significant gap between the views of the American electorate and the tone of much of the left out-of-center media coverage, which has largely portrayed the public as skeptical or opposed to military action. They are. 75%. Our data suggests otherwise. Our latest national survey of only 1,000 people was conducted between March 2nd and March 9th and carries a margin of error of plus or minus 3.1% at a 95% confidence interval. When voters were asked whether they approved of President Trump using used military to eliminate Iran's nuclear missile program and its support for terrorism, given Iran's refusal to negotiate, weren't they already negotiating? An end to its nuclear weapons and missiles development, 51% approved. So even adding in terrorism, refusal to negotiate, nuclear weapons, a threat to the United States, they only got 51%. Support was overwhelming among Republicans with 86% approving of the action, but backing was not limited to the Republican base. 25% of Democrats also approved of military action, demonstrating that concern over Iran's nuclear ambitions crosses party lines. Looking at voters by the 2024 presidential vote choice shows a similar pattern. 86% of Trump voters supported the action, 18% of those who voted for Kamala. Media consumption habits also played a role in shaping attitudes. Among voters who primarily watch right-of-center cable news, support for military action was overwhelming at 82% approval to just 12% disapproval. In contrast, viewers of left-of-center news were far more skeptical with 72% disapproving. Among voters who do not watch... Whatever. Among voters who... I mean, what is there that's right-of-center news? Fox? Oh, I guess Newsmax and RSBN and shit like that. I don't even consider those real news. Among voters who do not watch cable news at all, 54% disapproved. That's not a good stat for you. However, when voters are reminded of Iran's decades-long hostility towards the United States, support for action becomes even stronger. In questions sponsored by the Tea Party Patriot Citizens Fund, voters were first reminded that Iran has been a rogue nation for 47 years, responsible for killing Americans and taking American hostages, including the deaths of U.S. soldiers in Jordan in 2024. After hearing that context, voters were asked whether they agreed with this statement. United States military action against Iran and the leadership of the Iranian regime were necessary and unwarranted to protect American lives today and in the future. A clear majority, 57% of likely voters agreed, 33% disagreed. Support was particularly strong. Voters planning to support Republican for Congress, 87 versus 7. Even among voters still undecided, 51 to 29. The results show meaningful support. I don't know. They said Trump's being shown polling that says this is a 90-10 issue in his favor. I don't even know where the fuck that comes from, bro. 75% of people do not support war in the Middle East with Iran or anybody else. But somehow they find these... When we remind them that this is about freedom, America, 9/11, then they're like, oh, 51%. Whatever. We're then going to go straight into... We already did Chris Christie this. Here's how Trump moves. This is how he operates.
I'm going to show you how he plays the game. You ready? Lock in. It's nearly 1 a.m. East Coast time on Saturday, March 14th, 2026. And about an hour ago, Donald Trump sent out this post on Truth Social. It says the fake news media hates to report how well the United States military has done against Iran, which is totally defeated and wants a deal, but not a deal that I would accept. Thank you for your attention.
Oh, shit. Thank you for the gifted memberships. I need to set up an alert for that. I forgot it was even on. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. That was from Jennifer.
This matter, President DJT. I saw that post on Truth Social and I thought to myself, something has to have happened. Something happened to our troops, a base, something. So I jump over.
I think you need to be in support of, now that we're already in Iran and fucking with them, we need to be very careful how we leave the area, what we leave behind, how we withdraw, what power vacuum we leave, the mess we leave, who fills that vacuum. We don't want another ISIS, right? All right, so he's tweeting out a bunch of shit, so what must be going on?
That I would accept. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President DJT. I saw that post on Truth Social and I thought to myself, something has to have happened. Something happened to our troops, a base, something. So I jump over to the Guardian's website. They are based in the UK, and in my opinion, they are much more reliable than our own media.
I could probably one day do a members only and subs only stream. Members only on YouTube and subs only maybe on Twitch. I don't know.
Here at home in the US. And one thing that they do really well is they have a minute by minute breaking news like timeline as things happen over in the Middle East, then they update here. So right before Donald Trump sends out that,
I don't want to make any promises. I'm really bad at that. I'm just really bad at that. I've tried that before. I can't. Something always goes wrong. I can't keep up with it. So, but maybe I can.
tweet or Truth Social post rather, and he's saying that like Iran is obliterated and they want to make a deal, but I don't like the deal. We find out roughly 10-ish minutes before this that missile strikes actually hit a helipad inside the U.S. Embassy compound in Baghdad. So Mr. Nightly News here, Donald J. Trump himself, tries to...
So it seems like as soon as he's being told, like, hey, we've been struck, we've been hit, this has been destroyed, he runs and says something positive about they're done. We've destroyed 100% of their military capability, blah, blah, blah. The news won't tell you. Trying to get ahead of that news.
Tries to get the picture in people's heads that he's the one in control here because he knows in the next few minutes after receiving that news that the U.S. media will start reporting on the fact that Iran had yet another successful hit on U.S. property, this time a U.S. embassy. We are losing bigly, and pretty soon they're going to put boots on the ground, and once they do, you can bet that we are going to start looking at a draft more seriously here in this country, because sending troops abroad in this case is a suicide mission. And Donald Trump does not care who dies in his name of a war of choice. I'm going to show you how he plays the game.
He runs to Truth Social to try to get ahead of bad news. 1,000%. That's his game. That's his go-to. They got him on so much Adderall, dude. I don't think half the time he just wakes up in a fucking sweat and goes immediately to tweeting. Pretty fucking insane guy.
Trump has actually come through on a lot of his...
And then this one's just a bunch of broken energy promises.
Trump has actually come through on a lot of his campaign promises. One of the things that he promised was that on day one, he would slash everyone's home energy bills by 50%.
Number one, your energy bill within 12 months will be cut in half.
And he has totally come through on that promise.
I got my electric bill this month, and it has doubled.
Oh, wait, that couldn't be right.
Last month's bill was $240. This month, $578.
We just got back our gas and electricity bill for this month, and it was $810.
I just want to point out that her bill was $200 last month. Yeah, so it quadrupled.
Oh, he's actually increased everyone's home energy bill.
Has anybody's bill quadrupled in chat? I know some of you guys are complaining about high bills. Anybody went from like 200 to 800?
By 13%.
Or even tripled.
Huh. Well, I'm sure they're expected to drop this year, right?
Your Excel gas bill is going up starting January 1st.
Utah homeowners just got hit by another rate increase in electricity from...
So Duke Power reported profits of $5 billion yesterday. And now they're pushing to raise energy rates here in North Carolina by 18%.
They're actually expected to have another double-digit increase in 2026. But he lowered gas prices for cars. And so that is way more cost savings than the increase in home energy bills, right?
You're on here trying to gaslight us right now by saying, holy shit, we're saving $12 a month on gas. $12.
Oh shoot. So he increased home energy prices upwards to $1,200 a year, but Americans only saved around $100 a year.
That's what we just covered, John McKay.
On their gas prices.
On top of that,
he was a week ago. He was telling countries not to show up. We've got it handled. We'll be out of there. He told the UK specifically not to come, not to bring their aircraft carrier and their support ships. Nope, we don't need you. Too little, too late. And now he's begging them to show up.
Car insurance premiums are starting to rise right now. This is because
Trump fucked up when he took off the LNG export limits. That wasn't like a Biden thing. That wasn't an environmental thing. That wasn't a fucking carbon footprint, LGBTQ, DEI. That was like, hey, we need LNG. And so does the rest of the world. If we leave it to the open market, the price is going to go through the roof. We got to limit how much you can send out because we're going to need it here and be able to afford it.
The tariff of Trump's plans were going to increase the median cost of living by $3,800 per year. But you're on here celebrating $12 a month.
Well, gas prices were spiking under Biden. Oh, U.S. retail gasoline prices have actually fallen every year since 2022.
Oh,
This
no.
actually come through on a
Oh, no. Yeah, let's talk about that, actually, before we go to Pete Hegseth. All right. We're drawing. Everybody put on their thinking caps. We're doing it. Okay. Let's say I own 1 million 1 ounce gold bars. This is me. I own this. I bought these gold bars at, we're going to keep the numbers relative. I bought these gold bars for me at $30. The current price of gold bars is worth $100. It's a lot of money, right? I bought them at 30. I've paid $30 million. They're worth $100 now. I could easily sell these on the market for $100 and cash out. Even if there's a shortage of gold bars, I can still sell these, and maybe I don't get 100 for them because the price will start dropping as I start throwing a bunch of them on the market, but still I could sell them, make quite a bit of money. This is all for me, right? You want some of my gold bars, okay? You make something with golds, you do something cold, you want some of my gold bars. So you come to me, logically, you would think that you could buy them from me at something close to this. That's what they're worth. That's what they sell for. Maybe I give you a discount. Maybe I say I sell them all to you for $90 if you want to buy them all at once. And you're like, hell yeah, right? It's better than trying to buy them at $100, especially when we're talking about a million or millions, right? Logically, you would think that. And I say, no. I don't want to do that. Instead, what I want to do is I want to loan them to you. Loan from me to you for free $99. That sounds like a good deal for me, doesn't it? And not only am I going to loan them to you for free $99, when you say, okay, well, what about repayment? How do I repay you? And I say, don't worry your pretty little head about that. Okay? You don't have to repay me. There is literally no time limit whatsoever. Instead, what I want you to do is I want you to take all the gold bars I'm giving you. You take them, you go make money off of them, sell them, make them into stuff. You make billions of dollars off of it. Okay, that's what I want you to do is make billions of dollars in profit. And then when the value is not $100, when the value goes down to, I don't know, $60 a bar, then I want you to kind of, repay me. You just give me them back. You don't give me any money. Just give me back my million gold bars. And if for some reason the price goes to, let's say, $61, stop. Don't give me any back. Only if it's $60 or less do I want you to give me any of my gold bars back. I think that's an amazing idea. Not for me, but clearly for you, right? You're getting all the benefit. You're getting something for free. Just given to you. You get to sell it, use it, and make a ton of profit, right? A ton of profit off of it. You get the free use of it. There's no repayment time ever. And the only time I don't want you to pay me any money, I just want you to replace my gold bars when it's cheaper and costs you even less. So right off the bat, you're making this, the $40, right? From 40 to 100. You're making that just by me giving it to you for free. If you just sold them as gold bars, didn't make them, didn't change the value, didn't improve them, didn't nothing, right? This is dumb as fuck. So why is the U.S. government doing this with our strategic oil reserve? Donald Trump is giving the oil companies our strategic oil reserve for free, telling them to take it, refine it, make it into fuel, sell it to you, making a profit, sell it to you, making a profit, and then when they want to refill the reserve, just whenever, it's oil is really cheap again at under $60 a barrel, that's when you can repay it. Remember how much bullshit they tried saying about, oh my God, Biden released the strategic. That motherfucker made money off releasing it. He sold it at a high price and bought it back when it was cheap and made millions of fucking dollars. And it was a congressionally mandated sell-off. He didn't even have an option to not sell it. And they raised so much hell about it. We're unprepared. They still think it's empty to this day. They were surprised when Trump mentioned the strategic oil reserves because he's got them all convinced that Biden emptied the motherfucker and never filled it back up, even though it was full before Biden left office and turned a profit.
So this is a story you want to hear, and if you get mad easily, you might want to sit down or take a blood pressure pill, because the announced SPR release from the Trump administration has now been confirmed today to be an exchange, and that means that this is going to be a grift of epic proportions, even for the Donald Trump administration. I'm going to walk you through this, but the taxpayers are about to get screwed out of billions of dollars over this deal. So typically, when we announce that we're...
The only people who benefit from this is oil prices will go a little bit lower because there's more oil on the market, and oil companies will make money hand over fucking fist, as if they're not making enough already.
Going to release oil from the SPR, that means we're going to sell it. And currently, the value or the cost, average cost of the oil that's sitting in the SPR today is $29.70 a barrel, and it's worth $100. So that 172 million barrels that we could sell has a value of $17.2 billion. And if we sold that oil, and then we stripped out our cost, the $29.70 a barrel that we paid for that oil, we would net profit $12.1 billion. Not bad. But we're not going to sell it, folks. We're going to exchange it, which is something that I was afraid of, and a couple of my other colleagues were afraid of. We're going to exchange it. So what does that mean? That means we're going to take this $100 oil and we're going to lend it to refiners in the U.S. Basically, we're going to give it to them. And they're going to sell it. They're not going to pay anything up front. They're going to get $17.2 billion worth of oil, and they're going to sell those refined products. And oh, by the way, the profits they make off of a barrel of oil are pretty extensive. So they will probably easily make $25 billion selling the refined products off of this $17 billion worth of oil. And then at some point in the future, when prices are at a place where it won't disrupt the market, they will give us back the oil. They're actually going to give us back 200 million barrels of oil.
So
they're giving us a little bit more oil back than we're giving them, but nowhere near offsetting the profits they're going to make and the money we're going to lose that we could have potentially made. Why the fuck would they not just buy it at market rate? I don't understand. We're already releasing it to lower the price a little bit. It's not going to do that much, but we are lowering the price a little bit. That's the point, to give them a better deal so they can pass that better deal on to the gas pumps. But to give it to them free sounds fucking insane, right?
Point. In the United States, we're refilling the SPR. We're taking physical barrels off of the market and putting them back in the SPR is non-disruptive to the market. Well, right now, that price is $60. Now, the Department of Energy has not put a time or a value on this oil. It just says when it's not disruptive to the market. And the reason it says that is because they don't want to say $60. And if that price goes above $60, it will become disruptive to the market, and they will stop giving us back our oil until it's $60 or below again. So there's no telling when we're going to get our oil back, but we do know this. If we lend this oil to the refiners that's valued at $100 a barrel, and then we receive back 200 million barrels, even though we're getting back more barrels, we're still going to lose billions of dollars. We lend them 172 million barrels of $100 oil. They give us back 200 million barrels of $60 oil. They profit $5.2 billion is their net. That's on the crude price, not on the premium for the refined products they sell. We lose. The U.S. taxpayers lose $5.2 billion, but we lose a lot more than that. Because had we sold the oil...
So here's what I don't understand. If there was some type of regulation where he said, okay, technically you're getting this oil for $60, the maximum you're going to pay for it is $60 a barrel because that's what you're going to replace it at. So you have to act as if you paid $60 a barrel for this oil and pass along all those savings at the gas pumps, right? You're going to, however much oil or however much refined products you make out of this crude oil, you're going to pretend like you paid $60 a barrel for it and pass all that along in savings. But just to give it to them, it's just so they make more money. Like I don't understand it.
And then simply bought it back at $60 a barrel, the same 172 million barrels, we would have the same amount of oil in the SPR that we have today, and we would still profit $6.9 billion. If we sold the oil at $100 and bought back 200 million barrels at $60 a barrel.
Even if we sold it to them at $80 a barrel and told them to pass along the savings as if, it was open market $80 a barrel. Anything. Like, I don't.
We would still profit.
The one chance he has to make money for the taxpayer, right? To put it in the treasury. He's like, nah, I better pass that on to the oil CEOs. They're doing pretty bad.
$100 million. We would get all of the oil plus another 28 million barrels of oil plus still profit $100 million. In this scenario, we're losing $5.2 billion. If they are forgiven of the premium, which happens. Because listen, it's going to take a long time for them to give us this oil back. It's going to take years. You can only put about 40 million barrels a year into the SPR. You can draw it out a lot faster than you can put it in. So at best, it's going to be 5 years. And that 5 years doesn't even start until $60 oil. And oil's not going to be $60 for 5 years. We need 5.
So who knows when we're going to actually refill it, right? When they're actually going to make good on this. When is oil going to be $60 or below a barrel?
5 years of $60 oil to get it back. It could be 25 years before we get that oil back.
Right.
But the point is, we're going to lose $5.2 billion They're going to profit $5.2 billion just on the crude side of that oil. They're going to profit another $3 or $4 billion on the refined products. So they're going to make $8 or $9 billion, and we're going to lose over $5 billion. The taxpayers are going to lose over $5 billion, and multi-billion-dollar oil companies are going to profit $8-9 billion, when all we have to do is sell it, and we could profit $12 billion. This is the grift of the Trump administration. And keep in mind, this is happening during a time of war. We are being grifted by the President of the United States for billions of dollars during a time of war, and the money we're losing is going to the biggest war profiteers on the planet, big oil companies. It's not enough that there is a possibility with this Iran war that they make record profits this year. That's not enough. They're going to grift us out of billions of more dollars, these dollars that belong to the U.S. taxpayer. That is what the Trump administration is doing to U.S. taxpayers in a time of war.
I wouldn't be excited to go to Venezuela either. They've invested multiple times, and multiple times they've lost those investments in Venezuela.
I told you were going to be mad. You know, I normally, and if you follow me, you know, I normally deliver my content and my message, no matter how crazy the situation is. I normally deliver with a very calm and subdued.
Yeah, there's a chance we need the SBR, but anytime you release an SBR, you have to take that into account. But they need to put a limit on this. Like, it needs to be refilled within a year or something. Like, you need to return. There needs to be some type of limit. When's the next time that oil is going to be below $60 a fucking barrel?
Attitude. I don't get worked up about stuff. People tell me every day, Matt, you're so calm. You're talking about these crazy things and you're able to do it in such a calm voice. I apologize that I can't do that today. And let me tell you something else. Oil and gas analysts and stock traders are going to love this. And they're going to be talking it up on social media about what a great deal it is. Because it is the perfect opportunity.
There's no way he can ever talk about bailouts or any of that shit ever again.
For them to make a fortune on it too. There's nothing better.
The only people that never need a fucking bailout is the goddamn oil companies.
Than knowing.
They need a hand up, you know?
Exactly when oil is coming off the market. Imagine being a trader and having advance notice of when there's going to be a short supply disruption. So they're going to love this. But it's a grift. Exchanges for oil is something we used to do historically, but it's nothing we've ever done for this situation. If there was an issue where a hurricane hit a refinery, a very localized, regional, maybe one state oil disruption, the U.S. Department of Energy would loan that area specifically the oil they needed to get through that disaster. This has never once been considered or thought about for a global oil disruption. As a matter of fact, this is the worst thing to do in a global oil disruption. This is literally the bottom thing on the list. This is what you don't do. What you do during a global oil disruption is a massive sale quick. This, as I said, is a grift of epic proportions. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section. I really appreciate my followers and subscribers so much. Please like and follow, share.
Insane, right?
Hello, everybody. Good afternoon from Washington, D.C., where I am. We are here for another Zateo Live Town Hall. This time it's a big one because it's a big topic. We're talking about the ongoing war in Iran. And
I want to get to the Hegseth clip. I just want to see what these guys were saying.
In Lebanon, the US-Israeli war on those countries. Who better to break it down with than this panel? This is not the kind of panel you get on shitty cable news. This is a Teo panel. It's Jeremy Scahill, founder of Dropsite News, investigative journalist, author, Rula Jibril, author, foreign policy analyst, Palestinian-Italian journalist, and of course Vali Nasser, who was on my show recently, scholar, academic, author of the Shia Revival, former advisor to the US State Department, Iranian American. Thank you all for joining me. We've got hundreds of people joining the chat as we speak. If you do have questions, stick them in the Zoom chat. I will try and get to them. Obviously, there are hundreds of you. I won't be able to get to all the questions, but I'll try my best. I get the prerogative of asking first, our experts today. Jeremy, I'm going to kick off with you because I've been seeing a lot of excellent work you've been doing at Dropsite News. I've seen some of the interviews you've been doing. One thing we don't hear on American or British mainstream media are the voices of our opponents, our adversaries. We don't want to hear from them. They're seen as just irredeemably evil and not worth talking to. You've actually been speaking to people in the Iranian government. I saw your interview with the Deputy Foreign Minister. You've got a piece out this week talking to sources in the Iranian government. So let's just start from an Iranian perspective. What does the Iranian government think is going on right now? What is their strategy, if they have one right now, in terms of defending themselves against two of the strongest countries in the world?
Well, they definitely have a strategy. And in fact, you know, as Donald Trump and his administration are sort of fumbling to come up with a retroactive rationale and justification for launching this war, we have been hearing from sources really over the course of the period between last June, when Israel and the United States launched what they called the 12-day war against Iran, and right up to the eve of the February 28th assassination strike on Ayatollah Khamenei that kicked off this U.S.-Israeli war, that the Iranians were not going to operate in the same way that they have at other times when the U.S. and Israel have attacked them. In the past, as you well know, Mehdi, you've talked about this, the Iranians have choreographed their response to Israeli and American airstrikes through back channels. And they did that because they didn't want to risk a wider war or a regional war. And so typically what would happen is that the Iranians, through intermediaries, would speak to the United States and say, you know, here's the places that we're going to target. And then that ensured that there weren't going to be, for instance, large numbers of American soldiers being killed or civilians being killed. This time, though, they said that they knew if another war was launched, that it was going to be an attempt to decapitate the leadership of the government, and it was going to be an existential war. And so the Iranians created or implemented what they called the Mosaic defense. They understood that probably the supreme leader and senior figures within the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps were going to be assassinated in the opening moments of this war. So they delegated command authority further down the chain, and they gave pre-authorization to hit swiftly a bank of targets in both the Persian Gulf and in Israel. And that's why you saw a very, very quick response where the Iranians rained missiles down on Israel and also began a series of attacks against U.S. military installations throughout the Persian Gulf. What I understand from sources, though, Mehdi, is after that first 72-hour period or so, as the Iranian state institutions and leadership began to sort of delegate authority to new leaders and people stepped in the command authority, there started to be a more central strategizing that took place. And for the last thing I'll say is that the Iranians that I'm talking to right now see the position as this. They understand it's an asymmetric war. They understand that the United States is an overwhelmingly stronger military power. They don't see themselves as having to defeat the United States militarily. What they want to do is inflict enough pain, cause enough problems, economically for the United States, but also regionally for the
Well, they're against the wall, right? Either they somehow get the U.S. to stop fucking attacking and they go back to power, or they're done for. They'll be killed and hunted and overthrown, and they're just out of power. And there's not, the U.S. and Israel will not let them come back into power if they're still alive. They'll probably be killed.
United States among its allies, including all these Gulf countries that
they don't really have an off-ramp, right? An exit anywhere. They're in it to either get the U.S. to stop and they live, or they're going to die.
Business deals with Trump that Jared Kushner's businesses are all wrapped up in, and that their view is they're not going to sign a ceasefire on what they call Trump's terms. So as he looks for an off-ramp right now, it seems, the Iranians are saying, our conditions are not the same as yours, and you don't decide when this war ends. Wars of attrition benefit the less powerful side, and even though the Iranians are taking a massive, massive pounding right now, 1,300 plus civilians killed, certainly conventional military assets wiped out, they believe that they have Trump painting himself into a corner. Time will tell if that's true.
Liking this video? Then don't just watch. Hit like.
All right, let's go to Hegseth. That's what the title is. I'm going to go cover that. So Hegseth basically advocates for committing a war crime here. So let's start there.
Good morning. I'll start, as we often do here at the Department of War, with the bottom line up front. For the world to hear, and the press to actually admit, that the United States is decimating the radical Iranian regime's military in a way the world has never seen before. Never before has a modern, capable military, which Iran used to have, been so quickly destroyed and made combat ineffective, devastated. We said it would not be a fair fight, and it has not been. As I stated during our first press conference on day 2, that was 10 short days ago, the combination of the world's 2 most powerful air forces is unprecedented and unbeatable. Between our air force and that of the Israelis, over 15,000 enemy targets have been struck. That's well over 1,000 a day. No other combination of countries in the world can do that. So today, as we speak, we fly over the top of Iran and Tehran. Fighters and bombers all day, picking targets as they choose. As our intelligence gets better and better and more refined. Looking up, the IRGC and Iranian regime sees only 2 things on the side of aircraft: the Stars and Stripes and the Star of David. The evil regime's worst nightmare. Iran has no air defenses. Iran has no air force. Iran has no navy. Their missiles, their missile launchers, and drones being destroyed or shot out of the sky. Their missile volume is down 90%. Their one-way attack drones yesterday, down 95%. And as the world is seeing, they are exercising sheer desperation in the Straits of Hormuz. Something we're dealing with, we have been dealing with it, and don't need to worry about it. We're on plan to defeat, destroy, disable all of their meaningful military capabilities at a pace the world has never seen before. But it's not just that Iran doesn't have a functioning air force, or that their entire navy is at the bottom of the Persian Gulf, or their missile force is shrinking around 90 bronze or refined. Fighters and bombers all day. Israelis, over 15,000 enemy targets have been struck. That's well over 1,000 a day. No other combination of countries in the world can do that. So today, as we speak, we fly over the top of Iran and Tehran. Fighters and bombers all day, picking targets as they choose. As our intelligence gets better and better and more refined. Looking up, the IRGC and Iranian regime sees only two things on the side of aircraft: the Stars and Stripes and the Star of David.
Yeah, he said the Star of David.
The evil regime's worst nightmare. Iran has no air defenses. Iran has no air force.
I mean, our fucking intel has to get better than an all-girls school, right?
Has no navy. Their missiles, their missile launchers, and drones being destroyed or shot out of the sky. Their missile volume is down 90%. Their one-way attack drones yesterday, down 95%. And as the world is seeing, they are exercising sheer desperation in the Straits of Hormuz. Something we're dealing with, we have been dealing with it, and don't need to worry about it. We're on plan to defeat, destroy, disable all of their meaningful military capabilities at a pace the world has never seen before. But it's not just that Iran doesn't have a functioning air force, or that their entire navy is at the bottom of the Persian Gulf, or their missile force is shrinking daily. Even more importantly, they also don't have the ability to build more. That's the most important component I'd like to emphasize today. Soon and very soon, all of Iran's defense companies will be destroyed. With every passing hour, we know, and we know they know.
My bad, I skipped ahead too far.
The force is shrinking daily. Even more importantly, they also don't have the ability to build more. That's the most important component I'd like to emphasize today. Soon and very soon, all of Iran's defense companies will be destroyed. For example, as of 2 days ago, Iran's entire ballistic missile production capacity, every company that builds every component of those missiles, has been functionally defeated, destroyed. Buildings, complexes, and factory lines all across Iran destroyed. So we're shooting down and destroying what missiles they still have in stock, but more importantly, ensuring that they have no ability to make more. Their production lines, their military plants, their defense innovation centers.
I'll be right back. He's probably going to say the part I'm looking for, but I'll be back in just a
better
second.
shape. Desperate and hiding, they've gone underground, cowering. That's what rats do. We know the new so-called not-so-supreme leader is wounded and likely disfigured. He put out a statement yesterday, a weak one, actually, but there was no voice and there was no video. It was a written statement. He called for unity. Apparently killing tens of thousands of protesters is his kind of unity. Iran has plenty of cameras and plenty of voice recorders. Why a written statement? I think you know why. His father, dead. He's scared, he's injured, he's on the run, and he lacks legitimacy. It's a mess for them. Who's in charge? Iran may not even know. With every passing hour, we know, and we know they know. For them. I think you know why. His father, dead. He's scared, he's injured, he's on the run, and he lacks legitimacy. It's a mess for them. Who's in charge? Iran may not even know. With every passing hour, we know, and we know they know, that the military capabilities of their evil regime are crumbling. They can barely communicate, let alone coordinate.
He just speaks in a bunch of, what would you call it, platitudes? We're the best. We're winning. We're super killing everybody. They'll never recover. No end in sight. They're decimated. They see Star of David. Like, I don't know. It's just weird.
Or we know, and we know they know, that the military capabilities of their evil regime are crumbling. They can barely communicate, let alone coordinate. They're confused, and we know it. Our response, we will keep pressing, we will keep pushing, keep advancing. No quarter, no mercy for our enemies.
No quarter. Now, just saying this in a press conference, obviously, isn't an issue. No quarter is a war crime. No quarter is a war crime. I don't know if they've given this directive or command. No quarter is a war crime. This would be killing enemy combatants that have surrendered, right? You're not giving them quarter. I was actually advised one time overseas, we were flying a black flag on one of our vehicles. And just the fact that it could be an implication that we were flying a no quarter flag was enough that JAG was like, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. You can't do that. Just a solid black flag. No quarter would mean that show no mercy. Even if you surrender, you'll just be killed, right? Shot on the spot. Even if you try to give up, your hands are in the air, you don't have a weapon or explosive or whatever, you're trying to surrender and we're still waving a white flag, we'll still kill you. That's what no quarter is. It's not allowed, clearly. I don't know why he, other than he just speaks in fucking euphemisms and platitudes. I don't even know why the fuck he would say it.
Yet some in this that the military capabilities of their evil regime are crumbling. They can barely communicate, let alone coordinate. They're confused, and we know it. Our response? We will keep pressing. We will keep pushing, keep advancing. No quarter, no mercy for our enemies.
Execution of prisoners, right? Falling back, whatever. We're killing everybody. You can't surrender. You can't quit. You can't give up. And it's reinforced by Trump saying, oh, they want to surrender, but I won't accept it.
Yet some in this crew, in the press, just can't stop. Allow me to make a few suggestions. People look up at the TV and they see banners, they see headlines. I used to be in that business, and I know.
Here we go. Now we're going to attack the media because they're not patriotic enough.
Everything is written intentionally. For example, a banner or a headline: Mideast war intensifies, splashing on the screen the last couple of days, alongside vision.
Yes, Middle East war intensifies. That's a true and factual statement. But what does he think it should read?
Visuals of civilian or energy targets that Iran has hit, because that's what they do. What should the banner read instead? How about Iran increasingly desperate? Because they are. They know it, and so do you. Admit it. Or
I mean, that's a crazy fucking opinion. You know what I mean? That's a crazy fucking opinion. Why? That's an opinion. That's not news. You can say the war intensifies because there's been more strikes on either one side, the other side, either side, saying like, "Oh, they're getting desperate." That would be someone's opinion.
News from CNN reports that the Trump administration underestimated the Iran war's impact on the Strait of Hormuz. Patently ridiculous, of course. For decades, Iran has threatened shipping in the Strait of Hormuz. This is always what they do: hold the strait.
And you still handled it so poorly.
Hostage. CNN doesn't think we thought of that.
Is it worse that they didn't think about this, or that they did think about it and had zero plan of how to effectively stop this from happening? Because if they were thinking about it, goddamn if they didn't fucking lose the strait real goddamn quick with no plan in place to keep it open.
It's a fundamentally unserious report. The sooner David Ellison takes over that network, the better.
The sooner David Ellison takes over that network, the better. So he's literally saying, David Ellison, prominent right-wing piece of shit, right, is going to take over and change the programming to be more patriotic.
Another example of a fake headline that I saw yesterday. War.
Again, this is the guy that's supposed to be the head of the Department of Defense. Right? He's not a pundit. He's not a podcaster. He's not arguing with the news about... He's giving a press briefing on the war in the Middle East while he dresses down news agencies and tells them how they should put headlines on stories and how they should report about the war. So it doesn't seem like people were exaggerating when they're like, oh, the Department of Defense wants us to sign this weird fucking agreement and none of the real news agencies are going to do it. So all your press briefings are going to come through like RSBN and Newsmax and shit because we're not signing that shit. Sounds like they're trying to control the narrative.
Widening. Here's a real headline for you for an actual...
Listen, war widening.
Another example of a fake headline that I saw yesterday. War widening. Here's a real headline for you.
Okay, the war is widening, right? A lot of Middle Eastern countries have been brought into it. A lot of civilian targets, a lot of military bases and installations around. It is widening. But what should we report?
For an actual patriotic press. How about Iran shrink?
An actual patriotic press. Is a patriotic press a free press? Or is a patriotic press specifically there to put a certain spin on a message? Is that what we're striving for, a patriotic press? In the context they're using it, they're trying to say like, oh, you can't say negative stuff about the U.S. Is that what we want out of our press corps? Out of our mainstream media? Well, we always just support whatever the country's doing.
Fake headline that I saw yesterday. War widening. Here's a real headline for you for an actual patriotic press. How about Iran shrinking, going underground? You see, Iran's leaders are
Iran shrinking? We haven't taken any what do you mean they're shrinking? What does that even mean? Is it just because you thought that was the opposite of widening?
in bunkers and moving into civilian areas. The only thing that is widening is our advantage. Not to mention our Gulf partners stepping up even more now.
I mean, that Iran shrinking might be a viable headline if we had troops on the ground taking territory and no longer calling it Iran. Like, okay, this is now U.S. number 2. This is now desert America.
Going on the offense and have always been with us on the defense with collective and integrated air defenses. Our will, it is unshakable. Our options, maximized, and our capabilities still building. We're going up, they're going down.
Like what? Don't you wish when people gave you actual information at a press briefing instead of these weird fucking... It's like he's clickbaiting the world. Our will is unshakable. Our options maximized, and our capabilities still building. We're going up, and they're going down. Is this like a... It's like a speech you would hear a high school football team captain giving before the game. We're going up, they're going down. As I said from the start, President Trump holds all the cards. He'll determine the pace, the tempo, and the timing of this conflict. His hand firmly on the wheel, as well as on the throttle settings. America first. In Iran.
As I said from the start, President Trump holds the cards. He'll determine the pace, the tempo, and...
It sounds like something you would hear in a cheesy movie.
...of this conflict. His hand firmly on the wheel, as well as on the throttle setting. America first, peace through strength, in action. From day one, as our nation expects and the president demands, our warriors have fought with lethality.
04, I believe, yeah.
Innovation. In fact, today will be, yet again, the highest volume of strikes that America has put over the skies of Iran and Tehran. The number of sorties and number of bomber pulses, the highest yet, ramping up and only up. And quantity has a quality of its own as we continue to ramp up. Every tool of AI, of cyber, of space, EW, counter UAS, you name it, we're employing it. Blinding, confusing, and deceiving our enemy. Because we know who the good guys are here. And the American people do too. And that makes my job simple. I serve God, the troops, the country, the Constitution, and the President of the United States, and answer only to those. All in service of...
I don't know what God you're serving, but it's not the God of the Bible. It's not the Christian God. It's not the Muslim God. It's not the Jewish God. I don't know who the fuck you're serving, bro.
Of victory on the battlefield and the military objectives that we've laid out from day one. Defeat the missiles, missile launchers, and defense industrial base, which I laid out today. Defeat the Navy and deny Iran the ability to have a nuclear weapon. Clear, decisive, achievable. And Admiral Cooper knows, the CENTCOM commander who we spent a couple of hours with last night, that in pursuit...
Yeah, if he was given this to a bunch of troops to like pump them up overseas or some shit, like our will's unshakable, we will dominate. Yeah, sure. This is a press briefing about what's going on in the war in the Middle East.
Pursuit of those objectives, we have his back in every way. His commanders know that, and so do the troops in harm's way. Admiral Cooper gets what he needs, the assets, the authorities, the munitions, you name it. We will stop at nothing to win. War is hell.
That's true. Different constitution, too.
And as we saw yesterday with the tragic crash of our KC-135 tanker, bad things can happen. American heroes, all of them. And as I have with all of them, as we have, we will greet those heroes at Dover, and their sacrifice will only recommit us to the resolve of this mission. But war, in this context and in pursuit of peace...
How many bodies until we're done recommitting to the mission?
...is necessary, which is why each day on bended knee we continue to appeal to heaven, to Almighty God's providence, to watch over and give special skill and confidence to our leaders and to our warriors. To those warriors who this nation prays for every single day, I hear from all of you out there who pray for them every day. Stay on bended knee and pray for them.
when they changed the name from Department of Defense to Department of War, everybody's like, oh, it's just a troll. You know, Trump, he doesn't want war. He's a president of peace. That's why he went, no more stupid wars. Now we've been in 2 wars with Iran in a year.
I continue to say to them, Godspeed. May the Lord bless you and keep going. Mr. Chairman, over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary, and good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for joining us today. Before I start with an update, I also want to address the tragic loss of our KC-135 refueling aircraft yesterday. The incident occurred over friendly territory in western Iraq while the crew was on a combat mission, and again, was not the result, as CENTCOM has.
I've seen pictures of the other KC-135 that was involved with a missing a piece of the vertical stabilizer was missing the top. It looks like they struck each other.
Said was not the result of hostile or friendly fire. We're still treating this as an active rescue and recovery operation. As CENTCOM announced this morning, 4 airmen have been recovered, and the Air Force and U.S. Central Command will provide updates as information becomes available. Please keep these brave airmen, their families, friends, and units in your thoughts in the coming hours and days. Our service members make an incredible sacrifice to go forward and do the things that the nation asks of them. It's a reminder of the true cost of the dedication and commitment of the Joint Force. We're also aware of a fire on board the USS Gerald R. Ford. We're thinking about the crew there who are injured in the fire. We believe and hope that everyone will be okay, and we're grateful for that. And for any further questions on that, we'd refer you to NAVCENT or to the Navy. This morning, we enter the 13th day of Operation Epic Fury, and we continue to make progress towards our military objectives. As the Secretary said, today will be our heaviest day of kinetic fires across the operating area. CENTCOM continues to attack ballistic missile and drone capabilities so that they are no longer a threat to U.S. forces, our bases, or our partners.
Yeah, so let's see. If you were a major, let's say you're like a primary staff officer. Let's say you were like S3 operations officer for a battalion. You would have somewhere between, I don't know, 500 to like 1,000 soldiers. You're in between like company level command and higher command than that, right? You kind of the in between guy.
They're continuing to destroy the Iranian Navy to ensure freedom of navigation, and this means going after Iran's mine laying capability and destroying their ability to attack commercial vessels. And we're targeting their defense industrial base so they cannot rebuild the capabilities that can harm America's interests or our partners in the future. As Admiral Cooper said in his
Yeah, thank God. If you elect Kamala Harris, we'll be in a war with Iran in 6 months.
Update on Wednesday, Iranian combat power continues to decline as a result of the continued strikes, as the Secretary talked about. We've attacked over 6,000 targets, and our strike packages continue to launch every hour, and we've maintained an unprecedented number of sorties up overhead of Iran. CENTCOM is now persistently over the enemy, and a result, we've seen a reduction in missile and one-way attack fires, as the Secretary.
Oh, I will address something. People are saying that the U.S. is lying about casualty counts because we went from like 12 injured, right, for a long time, and then suddenly it jumped to like 140 injured, wounded. That's not abnormal that information would be delayed by a day or two, okay? Because we are in a war, because our enemies can watch the fucking media, you're not going to get immediate updates of how many are wounded like you might get somewhere else or in the civilian world. Right, they might hold on to that information for a day or two until we evacuate that area, so the enemy doesn't know that they hit a fucking barracks and to fucking repeat, right, fire again.
He said, in less than 2 weeks, we've rendered the Iranian Navy combat ineffective and continue to attack naval vessels, including all of their Soleimani-class warships, which were armed with anti-ship missiles and anti-aircraft weapons. We've made progress.
I don't believe they're lying about casualties. I think we're probably going to get delayed casualty numbers. Like we might see a strike that just happened that hits a U.S. base, and then 2 days later, right, we get that, there was 15 people wounded.
Iran still has the capability to harm friendly forces in commercial shipping, and our work on this effort continues. But I want to make something clear. The only thing preventing commercial traffic and flow through the straits right now, which there is some through the straits, is Iran. They are the belligerents here holding the strait.
Yeah, clearly. Clearly, they're holding it. It's the only little bit of fucking power they've still got. Yeah. I want to make it clear, we're not stopping boats from going in there. We didn't think you were.
Closed, although there is some traffic moving through there. We've made it a priority to target Iran's mine-laying enterprise, their mine layers, the naval bases and depots, in addition to the missiles that could influence the straits, and CENTCOM continues to attack those efforts. And we continue to make progress on the industrial base to include factories, weapons, warehouses that are stored in, and we will continue to do.
Oh my God, have you seen the crazy Christian TikTokers? Hold on. Remember how it come down for the administration? This is like a war to kick off the apocalypse kind of shit. they're celebrating it. We are at war with Iran. Me know Jesus is coming back soon. Like what the fuck? There was one where the lady was like dancing on her furniture or some shit. It wasn't this one. It was I don't know. I'd have to go back and find it. She was like dancing outside, I believe, and a bunch of people have done responses to it. It's fucking insane. They're like, "Oh yeah, this is it. This is how fucking the Book of Revelation plays out."
This pastor right here is
they're excited
how everything that is taking place with Iran right now is actually biblical. Okay, let me show you guys what he's talking about.
Elam it's actually Iran. I want y'all to hear me. Elam was an ancient civilization located in what is now, I want y'all to say it with me, Iran. That's what it is. And the capital of Elam was Susa. The name, just so y'all know, the name wasn't changed till later on, but this is the same city where the book of Esther takes place, the same region where the prophet Daniel had his vision. This isn't some obscure, disconnected territory. This is Iran. The Bible literally is naming the land that is being bombed right now. But we got to go ahead and keep reading. Let's go ahead and get into verse 35 right here. Let's go ahead and get into that. And it says, I'm going to move it up some. Thus said the Lord of hosts.
Oh my God. What's the preacher we used to cover? Can a brother get some... Can a brother get a drink of water? That chicken-headed hoe. What was that guy's name?
Behold, I will break the bow of Elam, the mainstay of their might. Do y'all see that right there? The mainstay of their might, the bow of Elam. Listen, I want to explain something to you. In the ancient world, Elam was famous for its archers, their military power. God says, I'm going to break the mainstay of their might, their military strength. Does that sound familiar to what's happening right now? Do y'all see that? Does it sound familiar? Let's move on, because I don't want to stay there. All right, and verse 36, and I will bring upon Elam the four winds from the four quarters of heaven, and I will scatter them to all the winds. Let's move that up, son, to all the winds, and there shall be no nation to which those driven out of Elam shall not come. Now, there's a lot that's going on here as well that I want to make sure that I give you. God says judgment is coming from every direction. Do y'all see that? The four winds from the four quarters.
Yeah.
And I want y'all to look
the black guy.
Strikes from Israel in the west. You got U.S. forces from the Gulf in the south. You got coalition allies from multiple directions. The four winds. All directions.
Ah, the four winds. Makes sense.
How many countries are attacking Iran right now currently, or at least somewhat involved in this war? Okay, and it says that number one country directly attacking Iran is the United States and Israel. And then it says Iran attacking or striking back at other countries, Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, Qatar, UAE, Kuwait, Jordan, Iraq, and Oman. Three other groups involved in the war: Hezbollah, Iran-aligned militias, countries under tension but not officially at war: Azerbaijan, Turkey, and Western allies like Canada and the UK, supporting the U.S., Israel diplomatically. Okay, so as the pastor said, there is a lot of countries on multiple sides of the earth.
These people are fucking lunatics, dude, and cheering it on.
Do so in the coming days, especially today. Now, as I often do, I want to share a little bit about our incredible joint force. Today, I'm going to talk about our incredible artillery force comprised of American soldiers and Marines who've been sinking ships, destroying depots, and launching Army tactical missile systems, or ATACMS, precision strike missiles, or PRISMs, and high-mobility rocket systems, or HIMARS. From outside Iran, our Army and Marine artillerymen are hitting sites that Iran relies on to project power beyond their borders and protect our deployed. In just the first 13 days of this operation, our artillery forces have made history. They fired the first precision strike missiles ever used in combat, reaching deep into enemy territory. They've used Army ATACMS to sink multiple ships, including a submarine, and they've done all of this with the precision and determination that comes from relentless training and trust in each other and in their weapon systems. Yesterday, I had the incredible honor and privilege of speaking with some of our young soldiers from the 3rd Battalion, 27th Field Artillery Regiment out of Fort Bragg, North Carolina, the unit and the crew that fired the first precision strike missiles. The soldiers I met came from all over this great country: New York, Texas, Delaware, California. One had been in the Army only 6 months and been in the unit for 2 months and was already deployed. He was the youngest at 20, but you would not know it from the way that they talked about their mission. The others were 22 and 28 years old. They spoke with a sense of calm pride, purpose, and clarity that tells you clearly they understand the weight of what they're doing and the people who depend on them. I asked them to walk me through a fire mission. I asked not just what they do, but what they feel, especially those first crew members on this particular mission. These soldiers basically live in these vehicles behind us. The cab, very tight, 2 folks sit next to each other with the crew commander behind them. It's jammed inside there with their personal weapons and kit, and they sit and wait for a fire mission. And when that fire mission comes, they close the armored doors and begin to program the systems. They then throw 3 simple toggle switches, and 10 to 15 feet behind them, a rocket motor ignites, and the round is headed downrange to do the nation's work. I asked these youngsters, these young, awesome Americans, what does that feel like? And one of them just looked at me and said, it's awesome. No drama, no hesitation, in the middle of the day, in the middle of the night, in the sun, the rain, in the snow, flawless execution. Their Marine counterparts are out there doing the same thing every night. Same work, same pressure, same expectations, same results. And
oh yeah, growing up in church, it was any day, the rapture was any day now. Global Spiritual, Larry Gators. You're right.
Hand tremendous and enormous responsibility to these young Americans, and they carry it with a level of maturity, grit, professionalism, and tenacity that makes me incredibly proud to be a part of their joint force. Their parents and families would and should be incredibly proud, and their leaders and I trust them to do the deeds that they must do in difficult circumstances every single time. I also want to touch for a moment today on their leadership. These young Americans are led by extraordinary young leaders out at the tactical edge. Yesterday, the battery commander and her NCO were there with this crew on the same video screen. The two of them hardly said a word. They didn't have to. In their eyes, and in particular the commander's eyes, you could see the quiet trust and confidence she had in these soldiers and the rest of their battery. It came through loud and clear, and we appreciate their leadership. When I asked these soldiers yesterday, what is it that you need from the Secretary and I, they looked at each other, paused for a moment, and looked back at me and said, more rounds, sir. It was awesome. So thank you to those soldiers and Marines out on the firing line supporting our mission, and thank you to their families. Our joint force will continue today to deliver dynamic fires against the enemy from the land, sea, and air. We remain deeply grateful for their service, and for the third time today, I'll mention that today will be our busiest day. This mission remains complex, dangerous, and difficult, and every service member has a family waiting for them to return home, and I want to thank all of the families today who are supporting their deployed forces and those doing the work here in the States. On a personal note today, I also want to thank the joint staff and the team that I have the pleasure of working with, some of them right here in this room. They are working 24 hours a day to deliver the options that we must to the Secretary and to the President. Today, as I close, I ask that we remember our fallen and those participating in the recovery operations to bring home our lost KC-135 crew, that we keep those service members and their families in their thoughts and prayers. Those are very, very, very tough days when that knock comes on the door for people on both sides of the door. Again, thank you to our deployed, thank you to our fallen, and to their families and to the Joint Force. And with that, I'll turn it back to you, Mr. Chairman.
Alexandra Ingersoll, One America News. Can you tell us a little bit more about the Strait of Hormuz?
One America News, because real agencies aren't allowed in here anymore. They wouldn't sign your little agreement.
And when it might be fully operational again? And how do we ensure our objective of denying Iran?
At least Kane is not putting a political spin on it, right? He seems pretty straightforward, trying to give out information without trying to be like, we are the most lethal and the anti-DEI military in the world. In Iran, they are chopping up babies, or whatever Trump said. They're like, did you hit a desalination plant? And he's like, these people are horrible. They chop the heads off babies. I don't know if you know that or not.
Iran a nuclear weapon if they continue to align with our adversaries.
So I'll take it and chime in, Mr. Chairman, if you'd like it all. I want to emphasize what the chairman said about that. The only thing prohibiting transit in the Straits right now is Iran shooting at shipping. It is open for transit should Iran not do that. Now, there's a reason why we chose, as one of our primary objectives, destroy the Navy. We understood the ability to interdict shipping is something Iran has done for 40 years. It's key terrain. They've used it as leverage. The world is seeing what they'll do to fight back in that context. And so we've heard them talk about taking various measures, and we're planning for all of them. So we have a plan for every option here. We're working with our interagency partners, and that's not a strait we're going to allow to remain contested or with a lack of flow of commercial goods. So we're aware of that. We're laser focused on our military objectives, but also want to make sure our partners across this government understand we're working with you to make sure that energy flows, and that's an important part. And the second question was on the nuclear capability. As we've said from the beginning, their strategy shifted just from defense of their nuclear facilities to a conventional umbrella of so many missiles that no one would challenge their ability to the opportunity to defeat their nuclear capabilities. And it was growing by the day. So with Iran at its weakest moment, going at that ballistic missile capability creates an opportunity to ensure at any point in time that Iran give up their nuclear capabilities, or if need be, you prevent them from doing it, as the president has done once already with Operation Midnight Hammer, obliterating those capabilities. So the conventional side is a huge part at getting at denying nuclear capabilities, if you have anything you want to add.
I appreciate the question. I'm not going to comment on what we may or may not be thinking about any options that the Joint Force could be tasked to do in the future, whether it's on the nuke matter or anything else. Thank you.
But we have options. Of the mines that are in the Strait of Hormuz and our ability to obliterate them.
We retain a range of options to solve a whole variety of problems, and that is one set of options that we have, that we hold on to. So, thank you.
Thank you, Secretary Hegseth. I'm Mary Martin with Daily Wire. Thank you both for the update. ABC News has updated its story from yesterday, clarifying that the FBI report on Iran possibly striking California was unverified. I just want to ask you, what impact did that original reporting have on the public, and does Iran even have the ability to conduct such a strike? And then just really quickly on another note, what role did Vice President Vance play in counseling the president on this conflict? Can you speak to some of the media reporting suggesting that there is a division there?
That reporting on California obviously had no impact on us. Also, we're used to bad reporting. We're used to ill-informed reporting, and so it doesn't change how we operate, but we engage with it to prove that it's not true, as CENTCOM has done so well. Ultimately, I look at the reports on a daily basis of our interagencies all over it. My partners across government are all over, looking for indications and warnings, keeping the American people safe. There's a lot of things Iran has said it can do for a long time, thankfully, including engaging their proxies and getting them involved in the fight, which they haven't been able to do. So we're watching that very closely. And as far as the vice president, he's an incredible leader of this team as well, alongside the president and Secretary of State. I can't say enough great stuff about this team, how it works together, how it provides options to the president and the vice president every single day is a key voice in that, an indispensable voice in that, actually. In the middle there, red tie. Yes.
Michael Gordon, Wall Street Journal. Iran is thought to have 440 kilograms of highly enriched uranium in at least 2 locations and several thousand kilograms of lower purity material. Can you conclude this mission successfully without physically taking control of that material, or are you counting on diplomatic negotiations to provide some measure of control leading to its removal? You've mentioned missiles, you mentioned drones, military industry. You haven't stipulated that taking care of that material is a mission priority.
We've said from the beginning, deny Iran nuclear weapons as a core mission. We retain options across the spectrum to ensure that they never do. And President Trump has said that. And that's why this mission actually couldn't have been possible without Midnight Hammer. Without what those B-2s did going across and obliterating those facilities, that set the condition for the opportunity to do what we're doing now. So the president's kept his eye focused on nuclear capabilities. And I will say we have a range of options, up to and including Iran deciding that they will give those up, which of course we would welcome. They weren't willing to do in negotiations. I would never tell this group or the world what we're willing to do or how far we're willing to go. But we have options, for sure. Right next to him. No, right there.
Right here, sir? Right here? I'll take it.
What is it? Right there. Yep. No, you. Yep.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Can you please provide some guidance? It's been 13 days in. Can you please provide some guidance, both of you, about the strike on the girls' school? There's been reporting that indicates the preliminary inquiry, even though it's ongoing, has determined that the airstrike was carried out by the United States. Given that there is another competing narrative that this was done intentionally, can you provide us with some guidance about whether this was the case? Secondly, we are also getting, we had heard yesterday from Energy Secretary Wright that said that the U.S. Navy would not be ready until the end of the month to provide escorts through the Strait of Hormuz. Is that an accurate assessment? And if so, can you tell us why? Thank you.
Well, with an issue on your first topic, an issue of such seriousness, we're not going to let reporting lead us or force our hand into indicating what happened.
We've already admitted it was us. And we used old fucking, it's embarrassing, honestly. I was in the military. I don't even like talking about it. How are you going to use data from fucking years and years and years ago and be like, oh, that was a military base then?
In a particular situation, because the truth matters. So I can report that CENTCOM has designated an investigating officer to complete a command investigation. The command investigation will take as long as necessary to address all the matters surrounding this incident. And the investigating officer is from outside CENTCOM and is a general officer. But I will note to this group and to the world, there's only one entity in this conflict between us and Iran that never targets civilians. Literally never targets civilians. I look at the process that's used on dynamic strikes or on boat strikes and others. We have a very high fidelity process in that case. So we don't target. Iran does. We will investigate and we'll get to the truth and we'll share it when we have it. Absolutely. And what was the second?
About the Strait of Hormuz, about the Navy.
It's a tactically complex environment, and before I think we want to take anything through there at scale, we want to make sure that we do the work pursuant to our current military objectives to do that safely and smartly. So we're continuing to develop.
And we do a lot of work.
Yeah.
And like I said, it is dynamic, but this is, I think, almost by 20% the largest day of strikes. And as I said, our intelligence just gets better and better. That feedback loop feeds itself. And as we refine those targets, it exponentially increases what we can hit and why, to include strategic things the world's talking about and looking at. And it's our job to have a plan for it, which we do, to address it, and ensure that the president has options. We've done that from the beginning in this department. He'll have options on that topic as well. An investigation is an investigation. That's what it is. It doesn't mean anything other than that.
Yes. Ryan Morgan with the Epic Times. Regarding today's busy day of strikes.
Epoch Times. No real news agencies are there. None of them would have signed the agreement.
Last week, you guys discussed the progress of the air campaign to gain air superiority and to transition from these standoff weapons launched at range to more overhead strikes. Can you now say that these strikes today are going to rely entirely on stand-in over-the-top weapons, or are standoff range weapons still in play?
It's a great question. I can say based on the report I read this morning at 0600, only 1% of the munitions we're using today are standoff munitions. The rest are over-the-top, the types of which we have a plethora. Which was our goal from the beginning. You use standoff, which are more exquisite. You transition to a much larger magazine depth, ensuring that you're preserving all the capabilities you have and your options across the force. Absolutely.
Has Iran placed any mines since the war started? Is Iran placing any mines?
We've heard them talk about it, just like you've reported recklessly and wildly about it. But we have no clear evidence. We have no clear evidence of that.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Secretary, given everything the U.S. have accomplished in the last 24 hours, as of today, how do you define success in this military option? And has that definition changed from day one? And also regarding Iran government telling countries hosting U.S. American bases that they could face attacks. What is the Pentagon doing about that?
First question is, what is the objective?
How do you define success as of today?
Yeah, I mean, we define success, again, 13 days in, by reaching the military objectives that we've laid out. Launchers, missile launchers, defense industrial base, their Navy, the ability to project power power in the naval sense, leading toward denying them to get a nuclear weapon. And we've got internal metrics that look at that we represent to the president, who then can decide how long he'd like to continue in pursuit of those military objectives. So that hasn't changed. There's a lot of things a lot of people talk about, what they want us to do or what we should do or what we should stay focused on. And again, I've addressed this before, and I think it's worth saying again, mission creep or expansive missions or prolonged timelines or democracy building or nation building, you name it, has not been part of what President Trump wants us to be involved in. We're solving for something here, this particular mission set, but also recognizing this country's conditioned to previous leaders, whether it's George W. Bush or Barack Obama or Joe Biden, who had these expansive, nebulous mission sets that kept changing all the time, so the timeline kept moving, and we kept pouring more troops in and on the ground, and then pretty soon everyone wonders, like I did in Afghanistan in 2012, what's our mission here? I'm not clear what it is. We're taking the opposite approach here and saying we've defined these objectives, we're pursuing those objectives, the president has his hand on the throttle and will decide ultimately when they've been reached that serve the purposes of the United States of America, American interests first.
So they can't really tell us what the mission is. Well, they can't have nuclear weapons, okay? I thought we destroyed those last summer.
Yeah, right here.
Thank you, Secretary Hexa. Polls show over 80% of Republicans support the president's military action in Iran, but there's some consternation in parts of the party, particularly from your fellow Fox News alum, Tucker Carlson. He called the war disgusting and evil, and then said of unconditional surrender, which the president has called for, means foreign troops get to rape your wives and daughters. Have you heard these comments, and what's your reaction to them?
We're busy executing on behalf of great patriotic Americans with a clear mission that's 47 years overdue. We're going to execute on that regardless of what people say about it. Yeah, right here.
You have said that the U.S. military has essentially aerial superiority, naval superiority over Iran, yet we're not escorting ships through the Strait of Hormuz. Why? How did you not plan for this?
We plan for it. We recognize it.
You plan for the strait to be closed, and that's why you're like demanding it be open now?
Because ultimately we want to do it sequentially in a way that makes the most sense for what we want to achieve and ensure that we're sending the right signals to the world when we do so. So when Chris Wright speaks or we speak, it's based on a full assessment of what we're up against, what we want to say to the world, how that we want them to see and understand the conflict. It's like this whole idea of the war widening. That's what the press wants to make it look like it's widening and chaos. No, we're actually closing in on grabbing hold of and controlling what objectives we want to achieve and how we want to achieve them. It's called shaping operations and setting the conditions. But when you shape the environment, you don't always tell. I mean, foolish political leaders and foolish military leaders of the past will hang an exact deadline on it, or here's exactly when we'll do what we're going to do, or here's how long it's going to take us. And then if you meet that, maybe you meet it, but if you don't, you fail. And if you're far beyond, we know exactly what we're shaping and why. We're sending those signals working across the interagency. The Strait of Hormuz is something we've paid attention to from the beginning. And the American people can rest assured we will ensure that our interests are advanced, no doubt. Yeah, right there, green jacket.
Mike Bress with the Washington Examiner. How many American casualties have there been, and where were the American service members when they were injured?
I mean, it's a bunch of return to duty. So we've had the large majority have gone in for some medical treatment and return to duty. We've had in Kuwait, Jordan, down across the southern flank a little bit, a variety of places, most from one-way attack strikes.
But I would clarify that. I think what we try to do here is clarify those numbers rather than saying KIA or WIA wounded. Be more clear about that because the overwhelming majority, almost 90%, thank God, are return to duty. Minor injuries return to duty. And so that number can look a certain way, and our job is to add some fidelity to it.
Secretary.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. David Sear, Real America's Voice. Can you share what types of munitions have been used on the attacks on commercial?
Real America's Voice.
Have any hit mines? And are you?
Good goddamn. You can tell they're not real news agencies because their fucking reporters look like cartoon characters. This is like a Batman villain.
SVs, unmanned surface vehicles, being used. And just a quick follow-up: were there any arrests in Fort Campbell with the drone thefts?
I'm not familiar with the Fort Campbell thing. The strikes that Iran has taken on shipping up north in the vicinity of Kuwait have been, I believe, from surface-to-surface missiles up there. We've not seen any USV activity out of Iran that we've seen in the Gulf at this point.
Nor have any ships hit mines or anything.
There's been no
still flowing through.
There's been no strikes.
One more time, right here.
Thank you so much. Heather Mullins, Lindell TV.
I think Fort Campbell had 4 drone systems stolen from the base, and they're offering a reward, $5,000 reward. Something like that. I saw it on a military Facebook page.
My first question is, President Trump is set to meet with Xi Jinping in a couple of weeks. How much support, if any, has China been given the Iranian regime? And then the second question, I know President Trump calling for an unconditional surrender from Iran. Given that the U.S. is working in partnership with Israel on this whole operation, is Iran expected to meet demands of both countries or just the U.S., and what are those demands?
Well, we're proud to partner with the incredible capabilities the Israelis have, but our objectives are our objectives. And so when those are met, as we meet those, we'll set the tempo of when those are met. What was the first question?
He's meeting with Xi Jinping.
Oh, yeah. The president has a historic relationship with President Xi. They look forward to having a dynamic conversation. Two powers. President Trump ultimately has established terms of that relationship, which advance the United States.
They're not like I looked up the drones. They're like Skydio drones. They're not like weapons, Sidewinder missiles kind of deal. It's more like a DJI drone with FLIR and shit like that. It's a surveillance drone. But it looks a very consumer drone.
and that meeting will continue to ensure we advance that. That's all I've got. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
So there you go. In case you're wondering, we still don't know what the mission is, but there you go. Yeah. I don't know. They were Skydio. So there's a Skydio version called the X10, I think, or X10, X12. That's like the civilian version. It's like $10,000-$15,000. The ones they stole just had a D designated. It's like an X10 or X12D, which is the Department of Defense version. It's like double, triple that price and does forward-looking infrared, shit like that. But they're not like fucking Predators or some shit. You know what I mean? I'll just look it up. Hold on. I'll show you what we're talking about. If I showed you this, you probably wouldn't think it was a military drone. You know what I mean? Like, it looks very civilian. I wouldn't worry about it being like using a terrorist attack or some shit. It's like this. That's what we're talking about. Skydio X10 drone. So there you go. They are not involved in Skydio. They are involved in Power something drone company and another company called Unusual Machines. Don Jr. and Eric Trump are both invested in that. But there's this big race to invest in drones made outside of China, right? Everybody agrees DJI kind of fucking dominated the drone market. And because they're a Chinese company, with the implications that go along with that, and the way technology is advancing, stuff they can hide in technology or turn off remotely or trigger this or do that. There's this big race for military drone companies that are U.S. based or ally based, and that's what they're investing in. Power Us. Don Jr. appears well equipped to help Power Us, which is a drone company. This is from 3 days ago. Among dozens of companies competing for Pentagon contracts to supply attack drones, one stands out. Power Us is flush with capital and ballooning in size as it buys up rivals and has one other advantage. It's partly owned by President Donald Trump's two oldest sons. The Trump family has drawn criticism for extending its real estate business into foreign countries that are trying to curry favor with the president and for making billions of dollars of cryptocurrency ventures benefiting from his policies. Grabbing less attention are new ownership stakes in federal contractors providing everything from rocket parts and rare earth magnets to AI chips and computer hardware. It's corruption, said Kathleen Clark, a government ethics expert at Washington University of Law in St. Louis. Government decision makers will feel pressure to use contract awards to enrich the president's family. The latest Trump venture is hoping to win some of the $1.1 billion set aside by the Pentagon to build up a U.S. manufacturing base for armed drones now that the Trump administration put a ban on importing them from China. Power Us says there's no problem with it bidding for government money. They couldn't make the president's sons richer. There's no conflict there. Whatever they're doing is what they're doing, said co-founder Brett Velikovich, referring to Trump brothers. Our focus at the company has nothing to do with politics. Asked to comment about potential conflicts, the Trump organization sent a statement from Eric Trump. Quote, I'm incredibly proud to invest in companies I believe in. Drones are clearly the wave of the future, end quote. Founded by U.S. Army Special Operations veterans about a year ago, Power Us makes drones mostly for commercial use, from spreading fertilizer to putting out forest fires, but it is bulking up fast to supply the Defense Department with armed drones like the ones being used in Ukraine and Russia, and more recently, Iran, as it rains havoc on the Gulf states allied with the U.S. The company bought 3 rivals in the past 6 months and plans to buy more. It just raised $60 million from investors to fund the buying spree and hopes to tap additional financing by doing a reverse merger in which a private company gets a public listing by buying one already on the stock market, usually a business with little to no operations. The public company in this case is Auroras Greenway Holdings, a Florida firm partly owned by Eric and Don Jr. That holds a few golf courses and is listed on the NASDAQ stock exchange. So they, instead of listing themselves as a new company, they're going to buy into a company that's already listed on a stock exchange. of the two oldest brothers. Don Jr. is the most involved in the federal contracting firms through a venture capital fund called 1789 Capital. Shortly after the Trump's reelection, 1789 Capital made Don Jr. a partner and then went on a buying spree of its own, investing in 25 companies in 1 year. It had made only 6 purchases in the 2 years prior, according to data provided by research firm PitchBook. Most of its targets appears to be seeking federal contracts or taxpayer funds or have already won them. Don Jr. and his brother have also started their own investment firm to buy stakes in U.S. companies designed to help their father revive America's manufacturing base. After the Associated Press asked Trump's chief business lawyer about language in a regulatory filing stating the firm would target companies seeking federal grants, he filed a new document with that language removed. Don Jr. appears well-equipped to help power us. He has spoken about our need for armed drones, appears knowledgeable about the technology, and publicly endorsed Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth when he was coming under fire during his confirmation hearings. Asked why Power Us picked a Trump company to merge with instead of the hundreds of others on NASDAQ with little to no operations, co-founder Volakovich said he was not a finance specialist and didn't know. I don't know why we're merging with that company. Somebody told me to. Our focus is 100% on getting the right technology into the hands of the warfighter, he said, regardless of who the investors are. That just came out a couple of days ago. 3 days ago, is that what I said? Yeah, there you go. Power Us seems to be their big leader. All right, guys. You want to support the show? Do it. There's a link, justquicktools.com/mylink/coldbeerconfessional. Where you can use any of the donation avenues, websites, whatever. Leave a message. The cool one is Dono Clip. I know nobody really uses it anymore, but you can record an audio or video message for the show, and I'll play it on the show. So you can record a video or just voice. But if you donate anyway to me or to the show, make sure you leave your name, a message, or something so I can thank you publicly. I hate when people donate and I don't thank them or don't get a chance to thank them. I appreciate every donation that comes in, so thank you for that. I appreciate you guys joining us tonight. I'm out of here. I'm actually getting out of here before 1 a.m., but there you go. More war crimes, so we'll see how that works. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. We'll see you in the next one. Have a good night. Love you. See you. Bye. I'll be back tomorrow, more than likely. I've got to do some shampooing on my dad's Shaggin' Wagon van. I'm getting ready to list it for sale and get it moved to a spot where I can store it until it's sold. And then that's really all I got planned tomorrow. So.
You don't have the fork and balls. You don't have the balls.
Okay, Scott. Here we go. I think I started some shit.
Shout out to the new channel members. Appreciate it.
About to get lit. Get the place in the best. You know that stage is set. You better buckle up because you ain't seen none yet. Here we go. I think I started some shit.
In the span of a week, 2 different young men have apparently jumped into the river to kill themselves in my town. One was a Marine, showed up, witnesses saw him jump in the river near a local church, and they pulled his body out. The other one went missing on March 5th, and they found his shoes, his wallet, and something else beside the river, and he just disappeared. So I don't know what's going on with... They're both like, I think one was like 26 and one was like 29. I don't know what's going on there. I'm going to look into that.
What's next?
I don't know that I would end myself that way. That sounds terrible.
If he did, he get fucking superpowers. Here we go. I think I started some shit. Piss him off. It's about to get lit. Get the place in the best. You know that stage is set. You better buckle up because you ain't seen none yet. Here we go. I think I started some shit. Piss him off. It's about
Thanks, Fellrunner.
Get the place in the best, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. I used to find clues too when I was high on shrooms. I found myself a tunnel that led to Jason Q's bedroom. Open his closet, I found some of his meat rockets. I strapped it to my shoes and then I flew through the roof. I found myself in orbit strapped to an F-16. High on amphetamine, with Trump in between. Put on a light coat of baby oil and saluted the troops. He tapped me on the shoulder and said, "This is gonna be it." Whoa, wait. Stop. What? I'll get my files. Wait, what are you doing? Stop. Hold on. Fucking stop.
Dude, come on. Seriously. My mom's an alcoholic. Oh, give me a... Oh, my God. Damn it.
Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in them bets, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in them bets, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Round 3. Down goes Nino. Please say it isn't so. Got him backed up on the ropes, trying to ram it down his throat. Now things are getting rocking, he was doing so well. It's all over, hands on his shoulders, they ringing his bell. You got Frog News Network doing no damn research. They be working copy on cocks that came first. 9th inning, second string, and they acting like they know hitters. Assholes throwing bullshit, sending runs to the shitter. All this nonsense on my conscience, it's hard to sleep at night. Who the fuck is in my window with this time of the night? These parasites, these leeches, with all their secret meetings, teaching all you fucking cretins about baby-eating heathens. Believing in reason with no meaning is bullshit. Will Bird motherfuckers out here busting the grifts. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in them bets, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in them bets, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet.
You don't have those guts because you're a pussy.
Good night, guys.
Pussy wearing aviator glasses in your mother's